Good evening, everybody. Thank you all very much for coming. Mostly familiar faces, but is there anybody who's never been to this before? Just you two? Okay, well, welcome. Thank you very much for coming. Can I ask, have you ever meditated before? Never. First timers. Wonderful. You're in the right place. So you're actually joining us. This is the last night of a series we've been doing on a very specific aspect of meditation. These practices that focus on love and compassion. But it doesn't matter that you missed the other nights. Tonight is the best night. So you come at the right time. My name is Justin. I've been meditating for about 30 years and teaching on and off for about 19. Doesn't make me an expert. I'm not a guru. I'm not a spiritual teacher. I'm just somebody who does it a lot. I've studied it a lot. I get a lot out of doing it, and I get a lot out of sharing it. One of my favorite things to say is that if you can breathe, you can meditate. So if you've never done it before, you may have this idea of meditation, that it's this strange thing that people do when they want to be relaxed, and they sit in uncomfortable pretzel-like postures and they put their mind into some incredible state that nobody could ever attain. And I want to dissuade you of that notion, and just to remind everybody that at its core, meditation is incredibly simple. If you can breathe, you can meditate. So, to prove that to you, I'd just like everybody just to take a breath. Nice deep breath in, and then let it out. So that's about as complicated as it gets. It's not quite a meditation. To turn that into a meditation, all you have to do is that while you're breathing, you simply pay attention to the breath. And there are lots of ways you can do that. You can pay attention to the air as it comes in and as it goes out. You can pay attention to your body moving while you breathe. It doesn't really matter. But all you're doing is you're breathing and you're paying attention to the breath. So let's do that again. So take a deep breath in, but this time really pay attention to the air as it comes in and then the sensation of the air as it goes out. So breathe in. And then breathe out. Well, there you go. You have now meditated. That's it. There is, of course, a little bit of a catch, but it's not really a catch with the meditation. That is the meditation. But what makes it potentially difficult or tricky is that we have a mind. We all have a mind. It's part of being human. And the mind gets bored. It finds it very difficult to stay focused on something like the breath. It has all of these other things it wants to think about. It wants to think about what's already happened today, conversations that maybe you had that didn't go as well as they could have, and you think about, oh, I should have said this, or maybe they meant that, or so we rehash stuff that's happened in the past. Or we worry about what's going to happen tomorrow or in the future. Or we have problems in our lives and we start to try and solve them. We go, oh, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do it that way. Maybe I could do it the other way. Problems at work. Emails that need to be replied to. We have relationships that we have to sort of work on. So there are all these things that the mind will want to start to think about. And that doesn't mean you're doing the meditation wrong. It just means you have a mind. So all we do in meditation is we sit and we try and place our attention on the breathing, any aspect of the breathing. We place our attention there, and maybe that works for a few breaths. For a few breaths, you're really holding your focus, and then you'll get distracted. Your mind, a thought will just pop into your mind from somewhere, and you'll follow it probably and just start thinking. And that happens to everybody. Doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. But then there's a very important moment. There comes the moment when you notice that you are no longer paying attention to the breath. That is a key moment. And it might happen quickly, and it might happen after several minutes that you've been following a thought. And it doesn't matter. The important thing is that when you notice, when you become aware of your own thought, when you notice that you're no longer paying attention to the breath, that's fine. Notice it. Simply notice. I got distracted. That thing that guy said would happen is happening. And then let it go and just return your attention back to the next breath and start again. And it doesn't matter how busy your mind is. It doesn't matter how distracted you are. It doesn't matter how many times that happens. It doesn't matter if you're off thinking about something for 5 minutes. It's fine. But when you notice your thinking, bring your attention back and start again. And you just do that over and over. That's it. But at its core, it is as simple as breathe and be aware of your breathing. That's it. And then the mind gets in the way and goes off on tracks. But then when you notice it, that's the key moment, and then bring it back. Any questions? You're going to be okay with this? Okay, we're going to do this for 10 minutes, but don't panic. I'll let you know when 3 minutes have gone by, just in case you are 3 minutes down a track on a thought. So I'll just let you know, okay, 3 minutes gone by. And then, because I've sat where you've sat, and there are many times when I think, please, can this be over? Please ring the bell. I will let you know when there are 3 minutes left. And all I ask you to do is really just to do your best, just to keep persevering, no matter how many times you get distracted, or for how long you've been distracted. Just start again with the next breath. So if I can invite everybody to sit up straight. The idea is you want to be comfortable, but you do want to be alert. Otherwise you might sort of, especially at this time of night, you might drift off and go to sleep. Generally, the recommendation is to keep your eyes closed unless you're feeling very sleepy, in which case it's fine to keep them open. But maybe just lower your gaze or soften it, or just look up at the front. Hands wherever they're comfortable, and just take a nice deep breath in through your nose, and then let it out through your mouth. And once again, nice deep breath in through your nose, and this time as you breathe out very slowly through your mouth, as though you're blowing up a balloon. And then once more, breathing out very slowly, just releasing any tension in your body, releasing any tension in your mind. We're just going to take a break for the next 90 minutes from your life. And now allow your breathing to return to normal. And just try and place your attention very gently on the breathing. Noticing the sensation of the air as it comes in. Maybe noticing how far you can feel the air. You can notice the little pause between the in-breath and the out-breath. And then the longer pause between your out-breath and when your body automatically knows when to start breathing in again. You can notice your body moving as you breathe. There's even a very subtle movement of the fabric of your clothing as you breathe. Just practicing putting our attention into the present moment by anchoring it on any aspect of the breath. And when you notice you've lost focus, please don't judge yourself. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It's just inevitable. It's part of being human. Let the thought go and start again. We'll do this for about 10 minutes. So we're about 3 minutes in. I'd like to invite you just to be gentle with yourself. When you notice you've got distracted, it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means you have a mind and it's restless. Notice that you got distracted and then bring your attention back to the next breath. So there are about 3 minutes left. I'd like to encourage you to keep persevering. It really doesn't matter how many times you catch yourself having lost focus. Just keep returning your attention back to the next breath and start again. Keeping your eyes closed, I'd just like you to take a nice deep breath in and let it out. And just start to expand the area of your attention beyond your breathing to notice your whole body. Notice the sensation of the floor under your feet. Notice your legs. Notice that you can feel where you're touching the seat, and then where your body stops touching the seat. You notice the heaviness of your shoulders. Take another deep breath in and let it out. And in your own time, when you're ready, open your eyes and connect yourself back into the room. So congratulations, you've now done it. So that is one type of meditation. Meditation is a big topic. There are many, many, many different styles and techniques and tricks and all this kind of stuff. But that is one. It's one of the most classic, one of the most popular. It's known as a single point of focus meditation. So what we're doing is we're finding a single object to try and anchor our attention, usually in the present moment, something in the present moment. It could be a candle flame, a picture, your breathing, your body, your emotions, sound. There are lots of different ways of doing this type of meditation where we hold our attention on a single point of focus, and then we notice when we get distracted, and there are many, many benefits to that type. But as I said, there are many different types of meditation. And I want to introduce another type where it's known as mantra meditation, where you repeat a word or a phrase over and over in your mind. And in some ways, there are some similarities insofar as you have this point of focus, if you like, but it's a little bit different. And it's not so much that you're trying to hold the focus. All you're doing is just trying to repeat the word or phrase over and over in your mind. And this type of meditation exists across most traditions. Most religious traditions will use some kind of religious expression, variation on the name of God, or some kind of inspiring phrase or word that they'll use. So you can use the word love, for example. Om is a very popular word from the Hindu tradition. One of the phrases I like the most is from the Buddhist tradition, and it's Om Mani Padme Hum. Om, just like what they say in yoga class. Money, like cash. Technically, you pronounce it a little bit differently, but let's just go with cash. So Om, money. Padme is probably the hardest word of the lot. P-A-D-M-E, Padme. If you're a Star Wars fan, it's the name of Luke Skywalker's mother. So there you go. Om Mani Padme, and then hum, just like you're humming a tune. Om Mani Padme Hum. And I was first taught that, I think I was about 18. I was in Dharamsala in the Himalayas in India, and learning about Tibetan Buddhism, and they repeat that phrase just non-stop all day. When you go into the monastery, all the monks are just saying it over and over and over. And there's something that happens when you repeat a word or a phrase over and over. It has this very calming effect. And it actually works in the brain. It works a little bit differently than breath meditation. They're both fantastic, and you can see all sorts of amazing brain effects from these meditations, but they're a little bit different. I've usually given because what that actually means is a little bit esoteric, Om Mani Padme Hum, so I've usually translated it as being happiness is within you. And I've always liked this idea that in the West, we have all of this graffiti, except we call it advertising, but it's really graffiti, and it's all over the place. We have all these posters, and it all says the same thing. It all says, happiness is outside of you. Buy the BMW, get the Miller Lite, whatever it is, happiness. If you buy this thing, you will be happy. That is the message of pretty much every advertisement. Want to be happy, buy our product. In the East, they have this graffiti. They write it on stones, they write it on flags, they write it all over the place, and it says, Om Mani Padme Hum. Roughly, happiness is within you. And I've always liked that translation. It's a little bit different. But it isn't literally what it means. Literally what it means is the jewel is in the heart of the lotus. Yeah, that sounds a bit weird. But what they're referring to is that they see the heart as being like a lotus flower. Lotus flower is a little bit like a water lily. And during the day, the sun shines on it and the flower will open up. And then at night, when it gets cold, it closes back up again. And their sense is that your heart is the same. It needs to be opened. And then when it is opened, there is the jewel sits right in the middle of that flower, right in the middle of your heart. And by the jewel, what they really mean is everything you want, everything you want, everything you seek, everything you want is sitting right in the middle of your chest. But the reason happiness is within you is not quite right. It's because what they're actually saying is you have to open the flower. And that's the key. And how do you open the flower? Well, you open the flower with love. That's how you open the flower. So, since we are focusing on love and compassion, I thought it would be good to do this mantra meditation. Now, by all means, use Om Mani Padme Hum if you like that, but you don't have to use that. You can use love, or I am love, or you can use any phrase you like. What I might recommend you do, just try this. If this sounds like it would appeal to you, is just either put a finger in the middle of your chest, put your hand, maybe put your thumb, the part of your thumb against your chest, or you can just put the whole of your hand against your chest while you repeat your word or phrase over and over. Other popular phrases are things like, I am that I am, which is quite a powerful sort of religious phrase. A popular modern mantra, which absolutely works with this, is simply to hold your chest and simply say over and over, I am enough. I am enough. You just say that over and over as your mantra. Or, if you like it, I'm going to be using Om Mani Padme Hum, but that's just because I think it sounds kind of meditation-y. But whatever works for you. Any questions? Similarly to the breath meditation, you might be repeating this phrase and you might be in it and you'll start thinking, okay, is this working? I'm not feeling anything. How am I supposed to say it? Those are all just thoughts. You might have loads of thoughts about it. And that's fine. Just notice. And then if you can, just try and just do the exercise. Just keep saying the phrase. Saying the phrase. And don't worry about whether it's working or not. Just do the exercise. And if at some point you find your mind has gone a million miles away and you're redecorating your guest bathroom or something and wondering about color schemes, that's fine too. Just notice, somehow I'm repeating the phrase and I'm picking which color of taupe. And then let that go and then just go back to the phrase and repeat it and start repeating it again. So I'm just going to invite you all to stand up for a second just to stretch so you don't get too sleepy. Take a nice deep breath in. And then when you're ready, take your seat. So I hope everybody's got a word or a phrase. You can even use your own name if you like. It really doesn't matter. I heard of one doctor who uses the word doorknob. Just seems a little unromantic to me, but apparently it works just fine. So, but if you like it, just place your hand in your chest in some way and just take a nice deep breath in and let it out. And now allow your breathing to return to normal, just noticing the breathing. And then maybe in sync with your breathing, just start to repeat your word or your phrase over and over, nice and gently. And however you're doing it is exactly how you're supposed to do it. And don't worry too much about it. Don't think too much about it. Just try and let yourself melt into the exercise of just saying the word or phrase over and over. And again, we'll do this for about 10 minutes. We're about 3 minutes in. Don't worry too much if you find yourself distracted. Just let that go, and then return your attention back to the word or phrase. There are about 3 minutes left. Just encourage you to keep persevering. Just see if you can melt into the word or phrase as you're saying it. Just invite you to take a deep breath in and let it out. Just to connect back into your body. Again, noticing the feet, noticing the floor underneath your feet. Becoming aware of the chair that you're sitting in. Noticing your breathing. Noticing the heaviness of your shoulders. And take another deep breath in. And let it out. And in your own time, when you're ready, open your eyes and connect yourself back into the room. So, about 5 weeks ago, I started this series on compassion and love meditation. And it wasn't because I'm super expert in compassion and love meditations. In fact, the opposite is true. I came to this subset of meditation pretty late in my career. I'd been meditating a lot, lots of different traditions and styles, and I knew about this stuff. And I knew it was kind of technically a powerful practice. But I just didn't think it was for me. I just thought it was for nice people. And I was working on Wall Street. And I was like, compassion. I'm glad people do that. That's probably good. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I was stuck on a retreat doing this practice. And I was like, okay, I get it. And then I was sort of frustrated. I was like, I can't believe I missed it all these years. But I'm still relatively new to it and exploring it. And we had 6 weeks. We had a 12-week course earlier over the winter, but it went on forever because the weather was so bad and we kept losing days and all this kind of stuff. So we just had 6 weeks. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I thought, I know what I want to do. I want to explore love and compassion meditation. Take it seriously, focus on it for 6 weeks, and just do it exclusively and see what happens. Just do the experiment. And I invited some of you to join me, and some of you have joined me on this exercise of trying this love and compassion thing. And then see, okay, so what do we learn? Well, on the one hand, of course, love and compassion. What's not to like? It's lovely. Feels great. Love is good. Everybody knows that. It's obvious, right? Love is good. But what some people have emailed me, and what I've noticed certainly with myself, is that that's all true, is that there are some great, you can feel great doing this, but it's also very confronting. It's quite challenging. Is that as you open yourself up to love and compassion, and you open yourself up to yourself, what you notice is there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of suffering. And you can start to see that in other people. There's a lot of suffering in the world. There's a lot of injustice. There's a lot of cruelty. And within ourselves, like once you get past any age at all, really, you've got this baggage. We've got these emotional bits of baggage where bad things have happened to us, either because we were bullied or somebody broke our heart, somebody we loved died, something brutally unfair happened to us. Life happens. And as you start to sort of uncover this and try and open your heart, you notice, ouch, there's all this like pain and hurt. And it starts to come out and you're like, I don't know if I like this. And people have said, I think it's good, but it hurts, it's painful. And that's been my experience too. And one of the people I turn to and I look to around this teachings about this on this subject is this awesome woman called Joan Halifax. And she's a Zen priest and she's an abbot of, there's a monastery in New Mexico called the Upaya Institute. And she teaches out there, and she teaches a lot around this subject of love and compassion. And she just came out with this book this year called Standing at the Edge. And the analogy she gives is that behind the Institute in New Mexico, there's this mountain, and she loves going hiking up on the mountain. But all of New Mexico is at high altitude, and certainly once you go up to the mountain, it's really high altitude. And so it's hard. It's hard to get up there, and the views are spectacular, I imagine, once you get up to the top. But it's hard work to get up there. And she also points out that, the closer you get to the edge, sure, the more beautiful it is, but it's also dangerous. There's an edge, and if you go over the edge, it's lethal. And the point of her book is that she points out that there are a lot of these edge states when you start to deal with some of these subjects, like altruism, for example. Altruism, an amazing thing to develop in ourselves, but too much can be unhealthy. Empathy is this incredible capacity we have to feel somebody else's pain, but too much, and we get overwhelmed. And then you get burnout and cynicism, jaded, and you start to try and avoid people who need your help because you can't go there. So she talks about these edge states, and her point is, and she identifies 5, but altruism and empathy are 2 of the big ones. And she's pointing out this stuff is hard. If you want to play this game of love and compassion, empathy, altruism, generosity, kindness, it's hard. You are opening yourself up to pain and suffering. And that's certainly been my experience. And she talks about falling over the edge. And I've been trying to play this game and over the last few weeks, and certainly this week in particular, I've really noticed struggling. Like there are aspects of life, and I'm sure it's not just today's life, it's the human condition. There is a lot of pain and suffering in the world. How much can you handle? How much can you try and apply love and compassion to situations you just see as being wrong? And I've struggled. And over the last few weeks, we've looked at sort of love, which is this desire for other people to be happy. Compassion, which is this ability to feel somebody else's pain and suffering and have that urge and allow yourself to have that urge and desire to try and ease somebody else's pain and suffering. Sometimes you can't, but you can still feel the urge to do it. And that's compassion. Subtly different. And then last week we talked about this very advanced level of this stuff, which they call sympathetic joy, which is a strange term, but really what it means is you're supposed to be happy for other people's happiness and success. So when my French friends are all celebrating because France won the World Cup, I'm supposed to be happy? I'm not happy. England lost again. But I'm supposed to be happy. Like that's the mature, like that's the adult thing. Like that's the love and compassion thing, is this ability, and I admit this is like advanced class and I may never get here, but you're supposed to learn how to become happy for somebody else's happiness and not begrudge them their happiness or success. And that's pretty advanced stuff. And then there is a 4th part of this puzzle, which I kind of overlooked because everybody does. Everybody does. It's by far the hardest part of it. But it's not hard because it's hard. It's not hard because it's difficult. It's just hard because we always overlook it. It's not kind of as sexy as love and compassion and sympathetic joy. And it's balance. And it's always taught in these classes, in the traditional teachings on love and compassion, is this idea of balance. You have to have balance. You're like, oh yeah, I want to do the love thing. You have to have balance. And balance requires a lot of things. One is courage. One is kindness to yourself. And there's also wisdom. And sometimes the only way you get wisdom is by making mistakes. Sometimes you only get wisdom by going over the edge and finding out, yeah, that's too far for me. I can't go that far. I have to come back a little bit. So I would say I am still struggling with this. I am finding it confronting. I find it hard. And I'm now reading all about that fourth part. Balance. Oh, yes, yes, that would be good. Wisdom. Oh, yes, that would be good. I could use some of that. So that's my struggle for the week. But now let's do one of the exercises. So we've done this the last few weeks, and it comes from a guy called John McCransky. I mean, it doesn't come from him, but he's the guy who interpreted it for the West. It's an Eastern tradition. And the point of it is that one of the big problems we have with love and compassion is that we're very bad at being able to accept it into ourselves. We think we should be doing this and giving this away. But his point is that if you can't receive it, then you have nothing to give. We have to practice the receipt of love. There's a Sufi poet by the name of Rumi who has a great quote on the subject, actually. He's a very wise guy, this Rumi guy. If you ever go on meditation retreat, everybody's carrying poems of Rumi. I think it makes you look wise if you carry the book. But anyway, his quote is, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself you have built against it. Sorry, Rumi, R-U-M-I. So, this exercise, we're going to be working on our barriers within ourselves. We're going to be looking at them and trying to melt them. It's a guided meditation, so it's relatively straightforward. You sit there, and I'll take you through it. But once again, let me ask you all to stand up, stretch, and then when you're ready, grab a seat. So, again, sitting up straight, I want you to be comfortable but alert, feet flat on the floor, hands wherever they're comfortable. I'd invite you to close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in and let it out. And now allow your breathing to return to normal. And what I'd like you to do is to imagine yourself in your favorite place in the world. Somewhere where you feel very comfortable, very safe, happy. It could be in your living room at home, or in your garden. It might be a clearing in a forest, by the ocean. Somewhere where you feel very comfortable, very safe. And now I'd like you to invite the person that you love, or the person that loves you the most unconditionally. I'd like you to invite them to join you in this spot. Could be a friend, a parent, a child. It can even be your pet, your dog, your cat, a horse, whatever. Something that you know loves you unconditionally. And I want you to allow yourself to feel that love. This is an exercise in allowing ourselves to receive love. And however messy your relationship looks like on the surface, underneath it all, not always dignified, not always romantic or whatever, but underneath it all is powerful love. And allow yourself to feel that from this person. Now I'd like you to invite a couple more friends. Your dearest friends, who you know believe in you, support you, love you. Might not be the words you use, but you know that's what underpins it. It's kindness, generosity, care. So invite them to join your group. You can see them seeing each other and smiling. They all have this thing in common, which is they care about you. And now I'd like you to travel back in time a little bit and remember maybe when you were a kid who some of your best friends were, that you played with, that you had that innocence of youth, of looking out for each other, playing with each other. And invite them to join this group. Maybe when you were young, there was an adult, like a family friend or a relative, who saw you, noticed you, believed in you. Gave you confidence. You can invite them to join the group. And then as you were growing up, maybe there were some other special friends from school. Maybe you've lost touch with, or the relationship soured. But remembering them as they were then, remembering that there was this time when they loved you, and invite them to join the group. Maybe you had a teacher. If you were lucky, you had more than one, but any teacher or teachers who, again, they noticed you. They saw what was special about you. They believed in you, encouraged you, challenged you. You can invite them to join this group. And again, notice your group. You can see them all meeting each other, seeing each other, recognizing they all have this thing in common, which is they all care about you. And allow yourself to feel this energy that's being directed from them towards you. It's almost like a golden light that comes out of them towards you. You can allow yourself to bathe in the warmth, the power of this energy. See it filling you up from your toes to your heart, all the way to the top of your head. Maybe as a young adult you had a mentor or a great boss. You can invite them to join the group. And then what I'd also like you to do is maybe to invite a character from history, which might be a religious figure, spiritual teacher, or it could just be an author whose work you found particularly inspiring and has helped you in your life. Recognizing that they did the work they did in order to inspire people. So they are touched that they have inspired you. And just allow them to join this group. And allow yourself to feel and receive the love that these people have for you. can maybe see them taking care of you. Maybe putting a blanket around your shoulders, giving you a hug. Maybe preparing food for you. Sometimes we feel as though these people loved us because they did not see the whole of us. They did not know about our dark secrets, our faults, our flaws, our vanity, our selfishness. But the painful truth is often that actually they did know that. We're not nearly as good as hiding that stuff as we think we are. Usually everybody knows. And they know you're human. They know you're flawed. And they love you anyway. The love is not conditional on you being perfect. It's unconditional, based on you just being you. So look around your group, look at the kindness in their eyes. Allow yourself to thank each one of them for their love, for their support, for their belief in you. And just know that this love is always available to you. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And taking as long as you want to remember this moment. But then when you're ready, open your eyes and connect yourself back into the room. So this love thing, like there are all these great pop songs. They will say, love is all you need. Love is great. And sure, like, superficially, it's great. It's lovely. But turns out it's really hard. It's really hard if we open ourselves up to the pain and suffering in the world, which is what is the price of love. If you love, you have to open yourself up to that. And if we open ourselves up to it within ourselves, it's painful. So, why do it? We certainly don't have to. As Shakespeare said, to love or not to love? That is the question. Okay, he didn't say that. But it kind of goes like, we have this choice, whether to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. We can choose to play this game of love, but it does mean we choose to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Or, okay, we don't have to end them, but we can just choose to live the ordinary life. To love a bit here and there. To play small. Absolutely, that's an option. We don't have to get into this difficult part. But the thing is that every wise person through our history, every tradition, East, West, humanist, you name it, doesn't matter. anybody who's had anything worth saying has said, this is the only game worth playing. This is the only point of existence, is to play this game. And sure, it's tough. It's hard. Yeah, life is hard. Love is hard. It's hard to do this. But this is the game. Now, some of the traditions, they have all these different ways that they sort of, people have their different ways that they sort of say, okay, we're going to get to wherever we need to get to. Within these religious spheres, it's like about, God consciousness or enlightenment or whatever. And they have different paths. So one of the paths is what's known as the path of knowledge. So that's where you sort of sit around philosophizing and trying to understand the nature of the world and the universe and God by sort of thinking through the philosophy. Theologians will sit around saying, if God is omnipotent, can God draw square circles? I took that class. I found it a complete waste of time. Apologies to my philosophy professor. But there is this there's the path of knowledge. And the idea is that if you sort of sit and you get enough wisdom into the nature of everything, then you'll ultimately be happy. Another path is the path of good action, good works. Do enough good things, and then you'll be happy. Just be selfless. Within the Hindu tradition, it's known as karma yoga. You inherit good karma by being a good person. Do good things for people. And you see that within the Christian tradition, Judeo-Christian tradition. There's this big argument about whether or not good works is enough. Like, is good works the way to go, or not? Then there is this path of mysticism where you sort of sit, like you do the mantra meditation over and over again, and you sort of sit in some kind of transcendent state, becoming one with everything. And then you attain some kind of great understanding of something. And then there is the path of love. And all the traditions have the path of love. But the thing about the other three paths is they all end up back at the path of love. With knowledge and wisdom, ultimately, what that gets you to is that the only thing you're supposed to be doing is learning how to love. Good works is great, but if the good works don't come from a place of love, they are valueless. Mysticism, all of the mystics, when they finally attain these states and then they try and talk about it, they all say, well, you can't really describe it. It's ineffable. It's undescribable. But the closest you can come to is it's all about love. Within Buddhism, they have these sort of arguments, like there's a school of thought that says, oh, you just have to focus on the breath. Focus on the breath for 40 years, and then you will attain wisdom and you will understand it. But then they sort of say, but the wisdom that you're going to attain is, oh yeah, it's all about love. Then there is another, that's the old school, and there's this text, it's called the Satipatthana Sutra, and it says, all you have to do is focus on the breathing. Be mindful. And mindfulness will get you what you need to get to. But there is another school, even within Buddhism, and they have their text, it's called the Great Path of Awakening, and it's just about developing love and compassion. And from the place of love and compassion, you get everything you need. The jewel is in the heart of the lotus. Within Christianity, St. Paul, very famous, like big wedding quote, 1 Corinthians 13. And he says, if I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship, that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. So within the Zen tradition, they like saying these koans. Koan it's a phrase, it's a sentence that makes you have to think or explodes your mind into some greater reality. The most famous one being, if this is the sound of two hands clapping, what is the sound of one hand clapping? And there are hundreds of these koans, and the idea is to get you sort of mind to have to go to another place other than just normal conscious thought. Within the Christian tradition, there's a great koan. So Jesus of Nazareth decided that he would sort of simplify all, whatever it is, 613 laws of Judaism, and he says there are only two. Love the Lord thy God and love thy neighbor as thyself. That's it. It's love. That's it. Whole game. But then the question is, who is my neighbor? And that is the koan. That is the koan that is at the core of what's really hard about love. Who is my neighbor? And that's what we sort of have to ponder. So this game, it's not easy. But it's the only game ultimately worth playing. So I am going to continue trying and failing and falling off the edge of the cliff. And I'm going to hope that at some point I discover some more wisdom and some balance in this thing. But I'm still going to play the game. And I hope we've still got 7 days, including today. We've still got 7 days left till the end of July. So even if you're joining really late in this challenge, you can still do 7 days of this exercise and try this love and compassion thing. And what I've been asking everybody to do is to do this next meditation that we're going to do. And you can do it in as little as 5 minutes. We're going to do it in about 15 minutes. But it's got 5 stages to it. So if you want to do it in 5 minutes, you just do each of the stages for 1 minute. We're going to do about 3 minutes for each stage. But again, I'm just going to guide you through it. And in the first compassion exercise, we received love. In this one, we're going to practice giving love to 5 different groups of people. So once again, just stand up and stretch. Get some blood in the brain again. And take a seat when you're ready. And again, sitting up straight, feet flat on the floor, hands wherever they're comfortable. And take a nice deep breath in. And let it out. And once again, deep breath in. And let it out. And now I'd like you to imagine yourself with the person that you love the most, unconditionally. Which might be a partner or a spouse, a friend, a child, a parent, or again, absolutely can be a pet. We are practicing, in a very easy way, our own generation of love. So we're going to generate love. So I'd like you to feel the love you have for this person. Recognizing that often we're a little bit mean and ungenerous with our love. We don't give it away as much as we could. We maybe think it's a limited commodity. But it's not true. We can give it all away. And we still have it all left to give. So see if you can really crank up your love for this person, allowing them to feel the full power and full depth of your love, kindness, your generosity. And now just see yourself saying to them the following phrases, and I'll repeat them several times. But see them in front of you and just say to them, may you be free from danger. May you be free from mental suffering. May you be free from physical suffering. May your life be filled with joy. May you be free from danger. May you be free from mental suffering. May you be free from physical suffering. May your life be filled with joy. Just see if you're still holding back a little bit with your love. See if you can raise the volume a little bit. See if you're holding back. May you be free from danger. May you be free from mental suffering. May you be free from physical suffering. May your life be filled with joy. See if you can feel this love up to its maximum amount, so they can really feel how you care for them, your kindness towards them. And now for the second part of this exercise, I want you to see if you can turn that love onto yourself. That same level of intensity. And for most of us, this is quite hard and challenging. We feel as though we're not worthy, or that we're supposed to be giving it to others, not having it for ourselves. But for this exercise, just see if you notice any resistance to this, and see if you can let go of that resistance. Nobody's watching. See if you can allow yourself to feel that same level of kindness and generosity for yourself. And see yourself saying, "May I be free from danger. May I be free from mental suffering. May I be free from physical suffering. May my life be filled with joy." May I be free from danger. May I be free from mental suffering. May I be free from physical suffering. May my life be filled with joy. And just keep saying those phrases or something very similar to that over and over to yourself. Staying as present as you can to each sentence. May I be free from danger. May I be free from mental suffering. May I be free from physical suffering. May my life be filled with joy. So for the third part of this exercise, I'd like you to picture somebody who's in your life, but you don't know them very well. You don't know them well enough to know if you have a positive or negative opinion of them. So that might be a neighbor or a work colleague. It could be somebody who serves you in a restaurant or the post office, dry cleaners, or your UPS delivery guy. Somebody who's in your life, but you don't know them that well. But you know that they have hopes and dreams and fears, just like you. You know that they struggle, just like you. you know that they have or will experience loss, sadness, and grief, just like you. And see if you can just send them all of your love as part of this exercise of training yourself in giving love. And just see yourself saying to them, may you be free from danger. May you be free from mental suffering. May you be free from physical suffering. May your life be filled with joy. We're developing our capacity for love, generating it towards somebody we don't even know. But we know they're human and flawed, just like us. May you be free from danger. May you be free from mental suffering. May you be free from physical suffering. May your life be filled with joy. Okay, so for the fourth part of this exercise, we're going to raise the difficulty level a little bit. And I want you to bring to mind somebody in your life that you find a little bit difficult. We're not going for an enemy or somebody you hate, but somebody who's kind of irritating or annoying. Which might be a work colleague. But frequently, family is a good place to find this resource. And this is not to approve of their behavior. It is not to agree with them or even to forgive them. But it is for your benefit to try and make it a little bit difficult for you. This is the training, is to recognize that, sure, they make mistakes, and they are wrong, and they behave inappropriately sometimes, just like you. And they have hopes and fears, just like you. And they struggle and will experience loss and grief and sadness, just like you. This is not for their benefit. This is for you to practice your capacity for love and to see if you can overcome your own resistance and give them everything you've got, just as an exercise. And see yourself saying to them, may you be free from danger. May you be free from mental suffering. May you be free from physical suffering. May your life be filled with joy. If you find this hard, that's slightly the point. And then just to see if you can do it anyway. May you be free from danger. May you be free from mental suffering. May you be free from physical suffering. May your life be filled with joy. So for the last part of this exercise, we're going to see if you can expand your capacity for love way more than you think is possible. And we're going to picture this entire planet with billions of people and trillions of animals. And just seeing if you can try to extend your best wishes for all beings. Try not to think about it too logically. This is really for you to see if you can expand your capacity way more than you think you can. And just say to yourself over and over, may all beings be free from danger. May all beings be free from mental suffering. May all beings be free from physical suffering. May all beings live with joy. May all beings be free from danger. May all beings be free from mental suffering. May all beings be free from physical suffering. May all beings live with joy. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And now there's a very sensitive moment of transition between the end of a meditation and before you jump back into your life. And it's very easy to just jump straight back into email and to-dos and worries. But just see if you can notice your state right now. And be very gentle as you transition to see if you can carry some of this with you into tonight, into this week, and into the rest of your life. And take another deep breath in and let it out. And only in your own time and when you're ready, open your eyes and connect yourself back into the room. So, thank you both very much for coming. I hope you liked it. If you didn't, I'd say one or two things. One is, it's possible meditation is not really for you, which is great to know, because then there's one less thing that you can cross off the list. Or it could be that, my style is not your style, so I would encourage you to try somebody else as well, because everybody's got slightly different ways of doing it. But it's been an honor to be the person who introduced you to the subject. So thank you very much for coming. And thank everybody else for joining me on this journey, for indulging me on this series as I explored these meditations. I hope you found it slightly less challenging than I have. Or maybe I hope you found it just as challenging as I have. I don't know. But I hope you got as much out of it as I did. We will be starting up again in the fall, but we'll be off for about 4 weeks, but we'll start up again in the fall. If you'd like to know about those and you're not on my email list, if you're on my email list, I'll certainly let you know about them. If you're not on my email list and you'd like to know, just give me your email address. And I'd just like to say, may you be free from danger. May you be free from mental suffering. May you be free from physical suffering. May your life be filled with joy. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.